Welcome to the Mission Possible, Migrate Without Frustration, a webinar by Google, Searce, and CloudEndure. We appreciate you taking time to attend this webinar to explore the Google Cloud Platform and how easy it is to migrate to cloud without frustration. I am Anup Gupte. Can we move on to the next slide, please? I am Anup Gupte, and I globally head Google Cloud Platform at Searce. We will begin by giving a brief introduction about Searce, followed up by an overview session on Google Cloud Platform, and moving from on-premise to cloud by Karthik, who is the head of GCP Alliances of APAC. Gil Shai, co-founder and CEO of CloudEndure, will show a short demo of live migration of on-premise to cloud using CloudEndure. If you have any questions, please type them in the GoToMeeting webinar control panel. At the end of the session, we have a few minutes for question and answers. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, so I'll give a little bit overview of who Searce is. So Searce, we are the largest premium partner of Google in India and partner for some of the top names in the Indian industry like Flipkart, Titan, DMart, Forbes Marshall, Myntra, Emco, Prestige, and have over 900 customers from multifarious verticals. We are the only Indian partner of Google to be on the customer advisory board of Google. We have presence in over 12 locations in India and growing over 100% year on year. We have been nominated as one of the fastest growing companies in INC 5000, and we offer services like reselling Google Cloud Platform, go-to cloud strategy, cloud assessment consulting, cloud migration, and provide SaaS solutions on cloud. Let's move to the next slide, please, where Karthik, who is the head of GCP Alliances APAC, will give an overview of Google Cloud Platform and moving from on-premise to cloud. Karthik, over to you, please.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you very much for taking the time. Most of you know Google from all of the different properties that Google uses. I mean, listed here are some of the properties that Google uses: Search, Maps, Drive, Gmail, Hangouts, etc. So as Google is out there making these services for our end customers, what Google has done is in the last 15 years built what is easily the most cloud platform that is out there. We were doing cloud computing before the term was actually coined, and over those 15 years we have developed the engineering expertise both at the hardware, the software layer, to make highly scalable, highly efficient cloud computing infrastructures possible. Could you click for the next one here? So as we go about doing this, we have in here built, as I said, a very scalable infrastructure and architecture. Here is one example of one part of one Google's data center that you see. Each of those green lights in there is basically a blade, which has maybe 15, 20 cores. And you can do the math on the X and the Y and the Z. So that is the scale at which Google operates. And we have enormous amounts of capacity and software engineering that we have done over the past 15 years to build that cloud computing platform. Could you click next, please? So we basically built out a better cloud for us. That cloud powers our products, powers our services, and powers all of the things that you've come to know about Google. Click again, please. Now what we're doing is taking that same engineering and the same advantages that Google products have, the same infrastructure that powers Google products, we are turning them into services and giving it to you so that you can build your application and services in the same way Google does. Next slide, please. So how does Google actually do that, right? So there are 4 key factors that actually make us a very good cloud of choice. One is the constant infrastructure innovation that Google is doing. We are constantly innovating on the server side. We're constantly innovating on the hypervisor side. So all of those innovations that Google puts into our infrastructure, that innovation is available to our customers as well. We also have features that we call sustained use discounting, because one of the most complex things to do is to try and understand how much capacity you need in the public cloud, right? And what we do is we take that burden off of our customers and say, the higher the utilization of service, we automatically for you. So we take all of these complicated guesswork and make it very, very simple by automatically giving you discounts for increased usage. And we also bill you for your cloud consumption on a per minute basis. And finally, we have a commitment to Moore's law pricing. In other words, as the benefits of Moore's law kick in, we automatically keep dropping the prices as well. So if you combine all these four aspects together, it is a question of how does one move to the cloud rather than when does one move to the public cloud offering. And all of these four key aspects are unique to Google as a public cloud provider. Next slide, please. So if you're an enterprise, large enterprise customer, so you're sitting there and wondering, okay, that's all great, but I do have existing applications and software in my current setup. I want to take advantage of the public cloud and the cost economics that public cloud offers, but I want to be able to do that in a scalable way. Well, Google supports you there as well. We support this in many different ways, but the key way is that we allow you to very easily create hybrid cloud infrastructures using our secure VPN tunnels. We have a lot of features that allow cross-cloud enterprise scale networking, and we are extremely open about all the different innovations we do in this space. Recently, we have also done a fair amount of work around containers and Kubernetes, which we have made it all open and open source as well. So the way you would think about this is to take your existing on-premise infrastructure, also provision capacity in the cloud, and marry these two together in a hybrid cloud using secure VPN tunnels, etc. So while that is all great, you're probably then saying, okay, I understand the economics, I understand how I can build a hybrid cloud, but I also want to understand how do I actually migrate these workloads into the cloud? Because migration can be a fairly daunting task, where particularly when one advantage of the cloud for the first time, the public cloud for the first time. Next slide, please. And this is where Google is working quite extensively with our technology partners like CloudEndure and our service partners like Searce to come together and make that process of migrating workloads to the cloud extremely, extremely simple and easy. What we are right now doing is actually offering a promotion, and you can see a link on the deck over there. If you have 5 or more servers that you want to migrate to the cloud, just go ahead and sign up at that link over there, and Google basically will support free migrations into Google Cloud Platform. And by free, we mean basically we will make the software cost of migration into the cloud very, very easy for you, and we'll work alongside our partners that process as well. And so I've spoken to you about why Google Public Cloud is easily one of the most scalable clouds, what kind of challenges in terms of doing hybrid clouds that Google helps address, and also talked about CloudEndure being a key partner for us to make it easy for you to migrate those workloads from on-premise to the cloud. With that, I would like to now hand it over to Gio from CloudEndure to actually show us how that software works to make this process easy. Gio?
Hi everyone, this is Gil Shai from CloudEndure, and I'm COO and co-founder. I'm very happy to have you today. So CloudEndure is today the leader of migration and disaster recovery into the cloud. And how we help our customers? We help our customers by helping them move their workloads from on-premise to cloud, one cloud to another, or one region of a cloud to another region of that same cloud, using continuous data protection, which I will explain shortly. Next slide, please. So as you can see here, we have two use cases that we help customers with. One is the continuous data protection, disaster recovery, and the other is live migration. And as you can see, we can do that from anywhere to GCP. So it can be an on-premise physical machine, be it VMware or Hyper-V or KVM or whatever hypervisor there is, a physical machine to GCP, or maybe one region of GCP to another, or another cloud provider to GCP. And all of that for, as I said, migration purposes, if you want to move permanently into GCP, or you want to use at the first step GCP as a disaster recovery geography, that's both supported. Next slide, please. So how do we do this thing? So these are the unique features that we have in the product. So first of all, as I said earlier, we support any source infrastructure, be it physical or virtual. The only thing we require is you have Windows or Linux on top of it, and that's the only thing we care about. It can be, as I said, any hypervisor or physical machine. The reason is that we do block device replication, which is basically disk-level replication. It means that we replicate anything that is written to the disk on the fly and immediately, and move it to persistent disks on GCP. Once that is done, then you have a situation where on the destination disk you have the data all the time up to the updated up to the second. That's the near zero RPO that you can see here, and you also have the benefit, because we are using block device replication. You have the benefit that we can replicate any application. So it can be a database or an ERP system or a web server, whatever application you can think of, as long as it's on top of Windows or Linux machines, we can replicate it to GCP. It's also, the RTO is also very minimal. It's a matter of minutes, and it doesn't matter how many machines you have. Once you decide you want to migrate into GCP, or you have a disaster and you want to create replica machines, it's a matter of minutes between the time that you press a button and the machines are automatically converted into GCP machines, up and running with the latest information on top of them. There's no changes that you need to do on any of your source machines, not to any of the applications or any configurations of the operating system or anything like that. There's no performance impact, or hardly any performance impact on the machines, both on the CPU, on the memory, and the disk, because the agent that you need to install to do the migrations or disaster recovery is a very low footprint agent that hardly takes any resources of the machine. We also maintain data consistency, which means that the data will always be consistent, even if it's a very complex RAID machine. We always maintain consistency, so when you spin up, or CloudEndure spins up the machine for you in GCP, it's going to be consistent, and that means no corruption of any kind, not to the operating system or to any of your applications. All of these features make CloudEndure a really serious enterprise-grade solution to the cloud and to GCP, and that's why very large customers are using our solution, names like Panasonic and Capital One, and very big Fortune companies around the world. Next slide, please. So just to have the process of installation of the agent, or actually the only manual step you'll have to do in the process of creating, being able to use CloudEndure. the first thing you would do is you would install an agent on the Windows or Linux machine, and at that point, the replication begins. There's no reboot or any required steps except for installing the agent, which takes about a minute, and the replication begins. The next step would be to enter the application stack details, which means that, okay, you started the replication to GCP, but now you need to explain or configure exactly how you want it to look like in GCP. What type of subnet will it be in? What type of machine? What type of volume? And all of these steps are necessary for CloudEndure to understand how to create the replica machine once we need it. The next step is basically, once you have all of this in, the only thing you need to do is press a button, and CloudEndure will automatically convert the boot devices into GCP boot devices, and will attach them to the persistent disk that have the data which is updated. And that takes a couple of minutes. So it consists of the machine conversion and creation of the machine or the instance within GCP. You can always do it again and again, as many times as you need, because CloudEndure is very easily, you can delete the replica and create it again and again until you feel that it's ready for disaster or ready for migration. Once you are ready, then you do the cutover and the failover, depending on the use case, and that means that you use the machine for migration purposes, or you just use it for disaster until the disaster is over, in which case you can do the failback to your on-premise environment or to another region or GCP. Next slide, please. Yeah, so now is the time for a demo. Now the dashboard is available. I'll explain it shortly again. So you have two machines on the left-hand side, which are on-premise machines. One is still replicating, that's rack space to GCP, and the other is already consistent, and the green check means that it's consistent. You can see the VMware machine is a simple WordPress application. So you can see Google, CloudEndure, and Searce, which is the last update that was done to that WordPress application. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to just replicate the demo machine. I can choose whether I want to replicate it to the latest information, or maybe I want to replicate it to a point in time, last week, a day ago, 1 hour ago. For the purposes of this demo, I'll just replicate the latest information, but just know that you can go back in time as well. Once it will take a couple of minutes till you see the machine up and running in the GCP region. But until that, I'd like to show you some other interesting stuff that we do here, and you can do with our using our tool. So everything, as I said, except for installing the agent, is pretty automatic. You don't need to spin up a machine. That's something that CloudEndure will do for you. But you have to do the installation of the agent and one more step, which is the orchestration of that machine. So you are able, once you have a machine you're replicating, you are able to do to choose some stuff and some parameters to make sure that the machine is created where exactly you want and exactly as you need. So you can choose, for example, a subnet to put it into. You can choose a, I don't know, in this example, I'll just take a N1 HIMEM 8 machine for Google, and then you can also choose an SSD or a magnetic volume once you need it. So basically, once you choose all of these, only then it will be the right place to do the replication, the creation of the replica, and at that point, you know that you're creating it at the right place at the right time. Now, another thing that you can see here is that the last update is the machine before you press the create replica. You can see if the machine is up to date, or maybe I mean, it really is. It's supposed to be up to date all the time, but just you have a parameter that you can look at to make sure it's really up to date. So in this specific scenario, you can see that it's a couple of seconds behind maybe, but it's up to date to the minute. And also the rack space machine, as we're talking, the percentage is going higher and higher. At this point, it's about 81% or almost 86% now, and it's going to proceed, and maybe it's going to even get to 100% while we are talking, and then it will turn into a green check and will be also updated to the second. So all of these are being done as we speak. If I open the log now, you can see that there are many steps that are done. Right now, it's starting to create firewall rules and stuff like that, but it's creating all the stuff that you need, including the machine conversion, which means that, as I said earlier, converting the machine from an on-prem machine or a Rackspace machine into a GCP machine. As most of you know, it's not going to work. If you just move the data and try to spin up a GCP machine and just attach the disk to that GCP machine, it's not going to work. But CloudEndure knows how to automatically convert. Actually, customers say like a magic, convert the machines into GCP machines, and then you can start working on them automatically without doing anything special. So seconds, I guess we'll see the machine up and running in GCP, and then we can connect to it and see that it's working. In the meantime, the Rackspace machine is almost on 100%, and the Google demo is continuously replicating all the time. You can see now that the Rackspace is already up to date, so I could potentially now also create the Rackspace replica as well. And it didn't take much. I mean, it really depends on the size of the disk. Sometimes the disk is bigger, so it takes a little bit more, and sometimes it's shorter, and it takes less time to create a replica machine. So until the machine spins up in GCP, which it currently is, you can see that the machine that has been created within GCP, and it took about, we can look at the log, it took about, it took about 3 minutes. So that's something that doesn't really matter if you have one machine or you have 100 or 500 machines. It still takes the same time, depending on the operating system. So Linux takes a bit more, it takes a bit less, and Windows takes a bit more. But still, it takes a matter of minutes. And you have, we can look at the demo, and I'm going to click now on the created machine, which is with the IP. It's been created with a public IP within GCP. And if I click on that machine, I'm going to see that we have the same exactly thing that we had just before we created the replica machine, but now it's a GCP machine. It's not an on-prem machine, and all of it was just installing an agent and basically orchestrating that machine into GCP. So I hope you got the idea of how easy it is to use CloudEndure, and hopefully you'll approach Searce and Google and CloudEndure to help you do many migrations in DR.